Namaste, and welcome to our continuing series on Savitri with our beloved Ranga. We are on page 5, The Symbol Dawn, Book 1, Book of Beginnings.
Our prostrate soil bore the awakening ray. We have to start from there.
Right.
So, the first canto of Book 1 is the symbol dawn. It's the description of the beginning of creation. So, it starts first with the inconscience, there is nothing, and from there the whole creation starts. Okay? He is not talking of the involution, he is talking of the evolution from the bottom.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because he's talking about the impassive skies are neutral,
That's
empty,
right.
still.
Yeah.
So nothing from the top.
Yes.
Interesting.
So he is talking of the creation. He is not talking of the involution. He is talking of the creation. Why? Because if he is speaking of dawn, the beginning of dawn is darkness,
Yes.
the night. So he begins with the inconscient. And then out of the inconscient is slowly trying to emerge the light which has come in. But it's a big struggle. As you can see, we have come to already 5 pages, and yet he is going on describing how there is an attempt to awake the dead inconscience, but it is refusing. And even if a little bit comes, again it dies out, the effort. So this is throughout, it goes on like that. And so many descriptions and so many images that it's very difficult for this higher light to come in. He is also vague about, he is purposely keeping it very general as to what is this thing trying to wake it up. He uses all sorts of words. He says, awakening ray, okay? Then the divine afflatus, okay? Marvelous birth to come, God light, okay? So, a spark of deity, okay? The single call, the uncompanioned power. He is keeping it purposely vague because it's not yet very clear what is urging it to come up. In one word, it's the divine. But the divine has so many aspects. That's why he is keeping it a little vague. Because it is not yet clear what is going to come out. First comes out life, then mind. So, that's a description throughout in great detail. So today we will continue with that until finally the symbol dawn becomes the dawn of the day when Satyavan has to die. So that is from the general symbolic dawn, it comes to the present day when there is a little bit of a Savitri description, and then the finally ends this canto with, this was the day when Satyavan must die.
And it's a shock.
Yeah.
That last line.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a the crescendo. It goes there,
Yes,
and then
yes.
this was the day when Satyavan must die. And then the next canto is, what is this poem all about? Okay, am I talking about a camel, or am I talking about philosophy, or am I talking about science, or what am I talking about? The issue. What is the issue? What is this whole poem about? So that's the next canto. So today we'll read and we'll stop at the last line. And Savitri, there's a break there. And the next section begins with, and Savitri too awoke among these tribes. We'll read up to there.
Okay.
And then if we have the time, we can read a little more. But today we read up to there.
Here too, the vision and prophetic gleam, lit into miracles, common, meaningless shapes. Then the divine afflatus, spent, withdrew, unwanted, fading from the mortal's range. A sacred yearning lingered in its trace, the worship of a presence and a power, too perfect to be held by death-bound hearts. The prescience of a marvelous birth to come. Only a little the godlight can stay. Spiritual beauty illumining human sight lines with its passion and mystery matter's mask, and squanders eternity on a beat of time. As when a soul draws near the sill of birth, adjoining mortal time to timelessness, a spark of deity lost in matter's crypt, its luster vanishes in the inconscient plains. That transitory glow of magic fire, so now dissolved in bright, accustomed air. The message ceased, and waned the messenger. The single call, the uncompanioned power, drew back into some far-off secret world the hue and marvel of the supernal beam. She looked no more on our mortality. The excess of beauty, natural to Godkind, could not uphold its claim on time-born eyes. Too mystic real for space tenancy, her body of glory was expunged from heaven. The rarity and wonder lived no more. There was the common light of earthly day. Affranchised from the respite of fatigue, once more the rumor of the speed of life pursued the cycles of her blinded quest. All sprang to their unvarying daily acts. The thousand peoples of the soil and tree obeyed the unforeseeing instant's urge, and, leader here, with his uncertain mind, alone who stares at the future's covered face, man lifted up the burden of his fate.
So he is continuing, we are continuing from our prostrate soil, both the awakening ray. So there is an attempt of the higher spirit to wake up the sleep of matter. And this is a struggle. He is describing in so many ways. It's trying again and again, again and again. There is a little bit of it shows itself a little bit and then again it dies out. What it is trying to show itself, he is purposely keeping it, the divine element. Okay, what that element is, he is describing in so many ways, as we said. Okay, we'll see that. The awakening ray, the marvelous birth, spiritual beauty, spark of deity, magic fire. These are all, they're trying to wake up somehow or other. And sometimes it is succeeding, but then again it is falling out. Okay, so this is the description. The struggle between spirit and matter to start the process of creation. Okay, so
Prostrate soil.
yeah,
Flat.
prostrate. That's interesting because
Yes.
why prostrate? Prostrate
Yes.
is something which is tired and defeated and
Yes.
is simply lying almost dead. Okay, so this is the soil. In other words, it is not responsive to the light. That's why the word prostrate.
Yes.
Simply lying like that, defeated almost. Okay. Our prostrate soil bore the awakening ray. The awakening, the ray is coming and trying to aware it. It is bearing, it is being able to absorb a little bit, but not yet being able to respond fully to it. Okay, so here too, the vision and the prophetic gleam. Okay, the vision and the prophetic gleam, lit into miracles, common meaningless shapes. So there is briefly there is a light that is coming and the divine element is seen for a short while. That's what it is.
Yeah. And lighting these common meaningless shapes.
Yes.
Meaningless.
Yes. Those things which have absolutely no meaning and the inconscient.
Yeah.
It is lighting it up
Yes.
for a brief while. Lit into miracles, common meaningless shapes. Then the divine afflatus, spent, withdrew. There you are. It came first, it lit miraculously, some meaningless shapes, it showed that there can be meaning, then it withdrew again. So it is coming, trying, withdrawing, coming, trying, withdrawing, repeatedly.
And it's an afflatus.
Yes. The afflatus means a divine creative impulse or inspiration. The divine creative impulse,
Yes.
afflatus. Yeah. Then the divine afflatus, spent, withdrew. The effort of the spirit to wake it up was not enough. So it is spent, it gets tired and withdraws. Then, unwanted. Matter is refusing the spirit's call. It's not wanting, it is resisting, because that is light and this is total darkness. Darkness doesn't want. Okay, this theme is there throughout Savitri, that the world is not wanting spirit at all. It is rejecting it again and again and again. In Life Divine, you have a whole chapter on that, the matter and the difficulties which matter presents to spirit. There are several things. There is ignorance, mechanical law, and also ignorance, mechanical law.
Tamas. Tamas.
Yes, tamas. That's right. So, darkness, refusal, division. So, these are the three things that matter presents to, and all of them are the opposite. Ignorance, that is knowledge, this is ignorance. That is the freedom, this is mechanical law. And finally, division, that is one. But the matter is, final thing is all atoms, break up, infinite breaking up. So this is, he is describing this in other ways. So the divine afflatus coming, trying, making an effort, lighting briefly the meaningless shapes, and then falling down, spent. And spent, withdrew. Unwanted. Matter is not very willing to receive the light. Okay, so mankind bears ill the eternal's touch.
Yes.
That is there also in Savitri later on.
Yes.
You don't want the light. They refuse the light. The ignorance refuses the light. And this is a very interesting thing what somebody is saying. It's a general principle. But I remember one a person came from Italy. She was an Italian lady. She used to come to the talks here. So she met me one day and she told me that I had an experience of golden light descending into me. But there was one part in me which did not want it. So, a practical case actually. So, that's exactly what Srimad is saying. Unwanted. Even when the divine, part of you may want it, but part of you at the lower end doesn't want. It wants to remain in its comfort zone. It doesn't want to shift. So, that's it. Unwanted. Fading from the mortal's range. A sacred yearning lingered in its trace. So the light came, the afflatus came, and it withdrew, but it has not withdrawn fully. It has left some impression here. And what is that? The sacred yearning lingered in its trace. There is a yearning which is from the lower bottom, there is a sacred yearning. A yearning for something better. So the first seeds of rising from the inconscient has been put in.
But it's lingering.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, yearning, lingered in its trace, not fully coming out, lingering. The worship of a presence and a power, too perfect to be held by death-bound hearts. So, there is the worship and the presence. It is vague presence is felt and a worship is there, but it cannot last long because it is too perfect. Even that little bit, yearning, lingering, even that is too much. The worship of a presence and a power, too perfect to be held by death-bound hearts. The heart of man is too impure and too limited. Death-bound, bound to die. So it can't receive that light immediately. The prescience of a marvelous birth to come. That's the sacred yearning, what it is he is describing, is a feeling that there will be a marvelous birth to come. And this is indicative of Savitri's birth. The marvelous birth is Savitri's birth to come. Okay, he is just giving a small hint about that. Only a little the God light can stay. Again, the God light is coming, but it can stay for a very short time. Okay. Spiritual beauty illumining human sight. Spiritual beauty trying to illumine the human sight, the human senses, sight, lines with its passion and mystery, lines with its passion and mystery, matter's mask. Okay, matter's mask is there is a divine involved in matter. There is an involution of the spirit in matter. But the mask is that of inconscience, darkness, tamas. This is the non-activity, no action at all, death. So that's the mask. But it is lining. It lines, it's a verb, and it means outlining. So everywhere he has used this. You see, the number of words he has used to show that it's a borderline between that and this. Okay, so he has used so many words. I've just vaguely he is hinting. See, sill. Later on, a word will come. Sill. Sill is the window sill. Okay, so it's a border. Range, lines. Okay, then edge, curve, gulf, skirt. These are all the words that he has used here. He is indicating the struggle is going on at the edge of light and darkness. Okay, so all these words suggest that. Verge, hinge, rift, brink, rim, marge. So all these words he is indicating there is a struggle at that level, with the borderline of light and darkness. So, lines with its passion and mystery, matter's mask. Note also the poetic alliteration. Mystery, matter's mask. And squanders eternity on a beat of time. The divine ray, the prescience and the sacred yearning is infinite. But its wealth, it is squandering on a beat of time. That is timelessness, infinite. And this is only time, limited. And that also one beat. So it is trying to bring its infinity here, not succeeding very well.
It squanders it.
Squandering. It is trying its best, but it's a wasted light. Squanders eternity on a beat of time. Now he starts a new sentence. As when a soul draws near the sill of birth. Okay, he has used the word sill. Is the window sill, the edge on the window. Yes. Okay, it's a shelf or a slab or a window or a door made of wood, stone or metal. So the sill is the edge of the window or the door.
We call it the window sill.
Yeah, that's right. But he is saying it's a sill of birth. So
yes, it's a different sill.
Soul is trying to come and take birth. Okay, as it's an image, because he's saying as when a soul draws near the sill of birth, adjoining mortal time to timelessness. The soul is coming from timelessness and entering into time. So it is adjoining again the borderline. Okay, mortal time to timelessness. The soul, which is infinite, is coming down into finite, into the body-mind life, into the matter. A spark of deity. Again, he is saying, he is keeping it vague purposely. Okay, a spark of deity lost in matter's crypt. The word crypt is an underground room, a chamber. It's like a cellar almost. So that's the matter's crypt. Matter's crypt. Okay.
It could also be a burial place.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes a crypt. Yeah. So this crypt of matter is so dark.
It's mostly found in churches and all that.
Yes,
they have this crypt.
Yes.
Okay, so its luster vanishes in the inconscient planes. There you are. A spark of duty has come, And that also is not a full deity. It's a spark of deity, a divine spark, but its luster vanishes in the inconscient planes. Again the same thing, the struggle between the two. Okay. That transitory glow of magic fire. Now this is a very interesting line. That transitory glow of magic fire. At the highest level it's a magic fire. But here it's becoming just a glow, and that also transitory. Now this is very reminiscent of some lines from the Upanishads. And it's beautiful poetry in the Upanishads, and it was Nollida's favorite lines. So I'll just read out those lines and from those. The image is there in heaven at the highest level. There is no sun, there is no moon, there are no stars, there is not even lightning, let alone fire, ordinary fire. All these things are not there. And everything in the physical world is lit up by His presence, by His light. All this is illumined. That's it. So, Nolida was very fond of this quotation. It has come in 3 Upanishads, not in 1. Okay, I'll read out the Sanskrit and then I'll read Sri Aurobindo's translation. Okay, so magic fire. Okay, the transitory glow here, transitory, and there magic fire. Na tatra suryo bhati, na chandra taraka, nema vidyito bhanti, kutoyam agnihi, tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam, tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. By that splendor, everything is lit up here. So, Sri Aurobindo's translation. There the sun shines not, nor the moon has any splendor, and the stars are blind. There these lightnings flash not. How shall burn this earthly fire? He's saying even lightnings don't have a spark. There the lightnings flash not. How shall burn the earthly fire there? That's a very puny thing. Okay? All that shines is but a shadow of His shining. All the universe is effulgent with His light. This is the quotation from and this is very reminiscent of that. You can see that very clearly. The transitory glow here of the magic fire. So, I go to the next one. So now dissolved in bright accustomed air. So he is using the word accustomed in the sense of ordinary. Very, very, you are accustomed to it. It's nothing extraordinary. So there he has spoken about the marvelous, okay, and here he is speaking about the marvelous birth, and here accustomed air. The message ceased and waned the messenger. So what is the message? The spirit trying to enter and awake the inconscience. But the message ceased. Okay? The effort ceased and the messenger waned. Who is the messenger? Again, the marvelous birth, the God light, okay, spiritual beauty. Okay? As when a soul draws near, it's poetry. So the suggestion of the spirit coming and trying to wake up matter, making some effort and some result and disappearing.
The awakening ray.
Yes. Even the awakening ray it gets lost. Huh? That's what he's saying. Okay. The message ceased and waned the messenger. The single call, the uncompanioned power, only power, uncompanioned, okay, drew back into some far-off secret world the hue and marvel of the supernal beam. Beam, light. Okay, so it came but drew back into some far secret world. It's trying to wake, but it is going back again and again. The hue and marvel of a supernal beam. She looked no more on our mortality. Now, you have to go back and see what is this she. Certainly he is saying she. The truth, the divine afflatus, okay, the presence and power, the God light, spiritual beauty, all this is represented by the she trying to wake up. Okay. Okay. She looked no more on our mortality. The excess of beauty natural to God kind could not could not uphold its claim on time-born eyes. So, excess of beauty natural to God kind could not uphold its claim here on time-born eyes. Time-born eyes here. Okay, there the excess of beauty. He has used also the word squandering there. Okay, too much of light is being. So, excess of beauty cannot come here into this world where there is only time, the time-born eyes, mortal eyes. Too mystic real for space tenancy. Look at the imagery. Tenant. Who is the tenant? One who rents an apartment. So the light is trying to come and stay here, okay, but it is unable to do that. Okay, so space tenancy. The word space means the physical world, because up there is no time, no space. Here there is time and space. So it is trying to come and occupy this place. But too mystic real. It's unable to come and rent this place to stay here. Okay, that's the image he's using. Space tenancy. Her body of glory was expunged from heaven. Okay, the rarity and wonder lived no more. There was the common light of earthly day. So here he is using the words common light of earthly day. Earlier he has said the accustomed air, dissolved in bright accustomed air. Okay, so constantly he is comparing the two and giving the contrast between the two, the higher and the lower.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Why was her body of glory expunged from heaven?
Expunged means removed, destroyed. Yeah. So it is trying to come in here but not succeeding. That's what is meaning, I think.
Her body of glory.
Her body of glory was expunged from heaven. Too mystic real for space tenancy, her body of glory was expunged from heaven. The body of glory from heaven was expunged. Now it makes sense. He's inverted it because of poetry.
Inverted it.
Of the rhythm.
Yes.
But what he means is the body of glory that came down from heaven was expunged here.
Yes.
Now it's clear.
Yeah.
We read it in the sequence, but it's not to be read in the sequence.
Right.
The body of heaven from heaven, coming from heaven, was expunged here. Yeah. It's very clear now.
Very clear.
Yeah. The rarity and wonder lived no more. That which came down here from heaven, the glory, lived no more. It died. There was the common light of earthly day. That light which came, that spark of deity, all those things came dying out here, not being able to survive. Affranchised from the respite of fatigue, once more the rumour of the speed of light pursued the cycles of her blinded quest. Now, this is interesting. Okay, he is very clearly telling the effort being done. Affranchised. So, what does it mean?
Freed.
Freed from what? The fatigue. The respite of fatigue. The respite is a short period of rest. Okay, so it is coming and it is exhausted, it is squandered and it is fading. He has used all those words very clearly here. It is fading and it is expunged. But then after the respite, it wakes up again. Okay, affranchised, freed from the fatigue, it again makes an effort. That's what is meaning. Freed from the effort, once more the rumour of the speed of life. Okay, life is again trying to come back. Okay, Because life is the first thing that comes out of matter. So he's talking of life now. Okay. So, pursued the cycles of her blinded quest. So, what is the quest? The effort to wake the inconscience. And it is blinded and it is cyclical. It is trying, failing, trying, failing, trying, failing. Throughout all the passages, you can see that. So, these cycles of blinded quest, it's a searching, but the search is not very successful. It is blind. It is not succeeding very well. All sprang to their unwearying daily acts, the 1,000 peoples of the soil and tree. So the 1,000 peoples of the soil and tree, of the soil, the animals, and tree, the birds. He is talking of that, okay? The peoples of the soil and tree. So, obeyed the unforeseeing instant's urge. Unforeseeing instant's urge. Whatever is the instinct, what they are made to do, they are doing without freedom. That's what is meaning. Animals and birds and all doing mechanically their life. Okay, so that's what is meant. And leader here, with his uncertain mind, alone who stares at the future's covered face, man lifted up the burden of his fate. So, leader is man, because Manomaya Purusha Prana Sharira Neta. That's the man is the leader of the evolution up to this point. So that's what it means.
But he has an uncertain mind.
Yeah, that's right. See? And leader here, with his uncertain mind, alone who stares at the future's covered face. So man is the only one who can try to see something of the future, can imagine something better than what it is. The animal has no idea of perfection, but man can have an idea, a vague idea of perfection. He can aspire for that. That's what is hinted at here. Alone, not the birds and the beasts. That's what is meaning. Okay? Alone who stares at the future's covered face. The future, some vaguely he can, but it is covered. He doesn't know what is going to happen. He doesn't know what the evolution will be. Okay? Man lifted up the burden of his fate. He has a fate, but that burden is a burden. So that finishes this one. Now he has finished dealing with the symbol dawn. And now the present dawn of today, when Satyavan has to die. That starts the next section.
I'll read to the end of the page. And Savitri too awoke among these tribes that hastened to join the brilliant summoner's chant, and, lured by the beauty of the apparent ways, acclaimed their portion of ephemeral joy. Akin to the eternity whence she came, no part she took in this small happiness. A mighty stranger in the human field, the embodied guest within made no response. The call that wakes the leap of human mind, its checkered eager motion of pursuit, its fluttering hued illusion of desire, visited her heart like a sweet alien note. Time's message of brief light was not for her. In her there was the anguish of the gods, imprisoned in our transient human mold, the deathless, conquered by the death of things. A vaster nature's joy had once been hers, but long could keep not its gold heavenly hue, or stand upon this brittle earthly base. A narrow movement on time's deep abysm, life's fragile littleness denied the power, the proud and conscious wideness, and the bliss she had brought with her into the human form, the calm delight that weds one soul to all, the key to the flaming doors of ecstasy.
Yeah. Okay. So, a little bit of description of Savitri and what she is. A description of hers. Okay. So, and Savitri too awoke among these tribes. He has used the word tribes. See? He has spoken about man, he has also spoken about the birds and the beasts. Okay? The 1,000 peoples of the soil and tree. That's very obvious. Soil, the tribes of the soil are the animals and the tree is the birds. So, obeyed, and man also he has spoken about. So, Savitri too awoke among these tribes. Now he has come from the symbol dawn to the normal dawn. Okay? So, this is the day when this is the description. And Savitri too awoke among those tribes that hastened to join the brilliant summoner's chant. Who is the brilliant summoner? The sun and the dawn. Because the summoning, waking up. Okay? Who is the summoner? The one who calls to you and wakes you up. So it's the dawn. He is talking about the dawn. Okay? Brilliant chant. Okay? And lured by the beauty of the apparent ways. The apparent ways, the normal things of the world, physical, acclaimed their portion of ephemeral joy. Light is coming, life is coming up because the sun has come up and life starts, but the joys are small, ephemeral, they are not much. Okay, so akin to the eternity whence she came, no part she took in this small happiness. The ephemeral joy and the small happiness, okay, or he is describing the small happiness, ephemeral joy. We'll see later on also he uses different words for the same. She is not interested in what is happening here because she knows that Satyavan has to die. That's the suggestion. No part she took in this small happiness. By the way, akin to the eternity whence she came. So she is in a condition where she is almost before birth what she was. So that is what is. In other words, she is indrawn into her own soul. That's what is meant.
And I think awoke here is not just awaking, but becoming.
That's right. Akin to the eternity whence she came.
Yes.
Related to that. It is something similar. She is almost like what she was before she came down here. That means she is indrawn. That's what is meaning.
Yes.
So, akin to the eternity when she came, no part she took in this small happiness. She is not identified with the physical world. Okay? A mighty stranger in this human field. Okay? The embodied guest within made no response. The embodied guest is a psychic being.
Yes.
Okay?
Capital G. Capital
that's
G.
right. Yeah. Embodied. The guest is there and he is embodied. He is there in the physical, in the body. Within made no response. Made no response to what? To ephemeral joy, to small happiness. It is not participating in the worldly life. That's what is made. The call that wakes the leap of human mind, its checkered eager motion of pursuit, its fluttering hued illusion of desire, visited her heart like a sweet alien note. So, all these sentences, the leap of human mind is not having any effect on her. It's checkered eager motion of pursuit. Okay? Eager motion of pursuit. When you have a desire, you want to pursue what you want to do. It's an eager motion of pursuit. But it is checkered.
It's checkered.
Up and down.
Yes.
Yeah. It's light and darkness, success, failure. It's the duality, subject to dualities. It's fluttering, hued illusion of desire. Desire can never be fully satisfied. It's an illusion. And it is fluttering, hued. Sometimes successful hue, sometimes failing hue. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Yes.
So, and all these things came, visited her heart, but like a sweet alien note. It's not leaving a trace on her. They're all strangers. All these things are coming. Desires are there, the eagerness of mind, life, body, all these things are coming to her. But they are all alien to her. Why? Because she's indrawn. And why? Because she knows the Satyavan is going to die on this day. Okay, so visited her heart like a sweet alien note. Then time's message of brief light was not for her. Again the same thing. She is indrawn. Time's message of brief light. First of all, she is in time. Okay? That means in the physical world. When he means time, he means the physical world. That is timelessness. This is time. Okay? And it's brief light.
She's not interested in a brief light.
That's right. It's not for her. In her, there was the anguish of the gods. That's why she's indrawn. She's not participating in the physical world activities at all. Why? The anguish of the gods, because Satyavan is going to die today. Okay? So, in her, there was the anguish of the gods, imprisoned in our transient human mold. The transient human mold, your body, your vital and your mind. That's a mold, human mold. The deathless, conquered by the death of things. The deathless is the embodied guest, but he has no power. He is imprisoned in the body, mind, life, therefore subject to death. So, defeated in that sense. The deathless, conquered by the death of things. A vaster, note also interestingly the running theme throughout in Savitri, oxymorons. Constantly he is using deathless is subject to death. That's what he's saying. Okay? In a very interesting way. Okay. So, a vaster nature's joy had once been hers. Had one, not now. Okay? But long could keep not its gold heavenly hue. So, a vaster nature's joy had once been hers when she was living with Satyavan. It was all happiness. But now it is not so. But long could not keep its gold heavenly hue. Okay? Or stand upon this brittle earthly base. The brittle earthly base is the sun. In the Life Divine, Sri Aurobindo describes the earth as a small speck of mud and water. So here he is using the word brittle earthly base. Okay? Could not stand. A narrow movement on time's deep abysm. Life's fragile littleness denied the power. Life's fragile happiness is the physical world, and it is denying the power. It doesn't want this power to come in, it's refusing. The proud and conscious wideness and the bliss she had brought with her into human form, the calm delight that weds one soul to all, the key to the flaming doors of ecstasy. All this was denied the power. All these are denied. So once what she was, okay, and what is that? The proud and conscious wideness and bliss that she had brought with her into the human form. She has come from the highest heavens. She is a divine messenger. She has come from there. But the calm delight that weds one soul to all, the calm delight that weds one soul to all, the cosmic consciousness. Okay? One soul is wedded to all the souls. You know. That's a cosmic consciousness he is talking about in poetic language. Okay? The key to the flaming doors of ecstasy. When you have the cosmic consciousness, that's a key to the flaming doors of ecstasy. So again the same thing. This whole passage that we read just now, Savitri also woke up, but she is not happy at all, and she is not participating in the normal activities of the physical world. That's what he's saying in poetic language. There is one thing I should mention. We are looking at Savitri from the meaning point of view, and we are trying to understand it mentally. Okay? But there is another way of approaching Savitri, which is also you should not forget. Savitri is a mantra. Its sound has a power. So, without trying to understand, that's another way of reading Savitri. Without trying to understand what is being said, just concentrate, make your mind as calm as possible, and read it aloud. Because the sound value will set up vibrations in you which will be constructive. not destructive. So, Savitri can be used just like that. Mother said to somebody, just read it without trying to understand, make a mind calm. So, we are trying to understand, that's valid. You are trying to understand Sri Aurobindo theme, how he is expressing. We are trying to look at the poetry aspect. We are trying to look at the idea aspect. But there is also the mantric aspect. Yeah. So there are different ways we are doing this, but we are not concentrating right now on the mantric aspect, because there the thought and the understanding is not necessary. But that also is another way of approaching Savitri.
It was Udar who said that Mother said to him, Savitri is a mantra for the transformation of the world.
Yes, that's right. There are
A
people who
mantra.
say Sri Aurobindo's magnum opus is Life Divine. But I would say that Savitri is first.
I would agree.
And Life Divine is the mental understanding.
Namaste all.